And we are live. Can everybody see me? Can everybody hear me? How are we doing? Everyone ready to go? All right. So, the Seahawks played a game this afternoon, and they won for the first time in over a month. They won a game. They got the W. They sent the Niners to 500. They at least partially derailed their season, and it feels good. Whatever else you can say about this game and this team, that was good. That part of it was nice. So, beyond that, I think that this team did show some ability to do some things that we weren't seeing beforehand. I do think this team took us some steps in the right direction. However, this was still a very messy game. This was still a very convoluted game. We made a lot of mistakes that made this a lot harder than it needed to be. And there was an opportunity to have a decisive win today, and it simply didn't happen. So, we're going to talk about it. To me, the major takeaway from this game, the thing that really matters here, is this offense maybe starting to work together? And I mean schematically. Are things starting to settle in? Is the mentality starting to change with some of these players? And before this game, I would have said, I don't see it. But after this game, man, I think we might be able to at least say there's reason to believe. So, we are going to get underway here. Now, I'll restate the rules. I will be attempting to stream until the end of the Sunday night football game, which is currently at halftime. I will reply to as many comments as I can, although I will probably not be able to respond to every comment because we're going to get a lot of them. If you have a comment you really want me to see, you send it in as a super chat. I am guaranteed to see it and reply to it. And channel members are somewhat more likely to have their comments responded to. So let's go ahead and get underway here. Herman the Great, thank you for getting the ball rolling on the super chats, $9.99. In your opinion, does today's outcome change anything regarding changes that need to be made, i.e. getting rid of, trading Russ, etc.? Not by itself, but what I can say is that A, the team did not lay down and quit, which I thought was possible going into this game. And they didn't. So props to Carroll for that. And two, Wilson spent most of this game getting the ball out of his hands quickly, taking checkdowns, not letting the pass rush have a chance to get to him, and genuinely looking like he was in control of the offense to a certain extent. Not maybe super early on, but he had the right idea. And that at least gives me some reason to believe that this could be salvaged. But we have 5 games left, and I'm not going to change my stance based off one game. I am going to open myself up to the possibility that things are changing. But we're not there yet. But thank you, Herman the Great, for the super chat. Yeah, Washi. We need to see a lot from Wilson over the next 5 games for me to believe that something like that is on the table. Jake, I think it's like probably around 2%, but we'll see what 538 says tomorrow. Who plays Monday night, by the way? Does that affect us at all? Oh my God, actually, the Ravens had the 2-point conversion good to go, and then Lamar just threw it wide. Dang, I didn't realize it was that close. Yeah, the O-line was awful. I do not think the offensive line is that bad, but today it was that bad, especially at the start. Marcus Sweetster. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I don't think so because we're not looking for Wilson to play well. We're looking for him to play the right way. We're not looking for Wilson to throw for 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. We're looking for him to play within the offense, play the way this offense needs players to play smart. If he does those things over the next 5 games, then I think it's at least on the table. However, you still have the same problems. You still have the same problems of how are you going to rebuild the entire offensive line? You are going to have to rebuild maybe the tight end room and the running back room. You're going to have to rebuild the defensive line, probably need a new linebacker, a new corner, a new safety. Stone Forsythe was playing right tackle. Jake Curhan was playing left guard. I think. That's what I saw. I saw Forsythe at right guard. By the way, sorry for the fuzzy green screen graphics over here. I changed my camera to 4K, and it looks a lot better. But it also needs better lighting, so I need to get like a light above my monitor. What do you think of Penny's performance today? He played admirably. Numb Seahawks fan, thank you for the $2. Do you like Joe Brady and who replaces Norton Jr.? I don't know if I like Joe Brady, but I think he's a reasonable candidate for offensive coordinator next year. And as for who replaces Norton Jr., it depends on who the head coach is. I like Brian Flores, but that's not realistic if you keep Pete. Yeah, Daniel. At this point, there's no reason not to. You gotta, I mean, especially if Shell is seriously injured. I don't know if Shell is seriously injured or not. But if he is, you may as well play a rookie. Yeah, Penny tried his hardest today, but guys, don't eat the rotten cheese. Don't forget that his bones are made out of paper mache. Like good for him, but he can't be part of the plans going forward. Thoughts on Niner fans blaming refs? Well, that's what they do, Jackson. There were some bad calls today, though. Honestly, I'm not even. I admit that, but that's not why they lost this game. The only reason why they were in the game was Gerald Everett decided to have the worst game that he's had since he was 4 years old. Well, yeah, David, the illegal snap happened way before the snap, so it made sense, right? Like the illegal snap happened a good 5 seconds before they snapped it, so it should be a pre-snap penalty. Oh yeah, Austin. Anybody who was on the we need to fire Carroll wagon and is now not on the fire Carroll wagon because he won today eats their own boogers. Okay? That does not change. Like, who do you think is responsible for Kyle Fuller playing in the first place? Who do you think decides to not play Jake Curhan or Phil Haynes? It runs through Carroll. Okay? The stuff we're trying to make a judgment on, the stuff we are trying to make a meaningful judgment on are things like the offense. Can Wilson be saved? Does it make sense to keep Waldron? Does it make sense to keep guys like that? Like, if we see the offense really start to sing these last 5 games, then I'll reevaluate then. Right now, I'm seeing, one good game. It could be a fluke. We'll have to see what they do in the upcoming games. Yes, Solari's another good one. Yeah, Stone looked all right. I'm not into tanking Willie Dang. They may as well look. Look, finding another quarterback is hard, regardless of everything else that I've said. Finding a new quarterback is hard. So if Russell Wilson can go out there, ball out, look like he's turned the corner, looks like he's figured this offense out, looks like he can um, use his mental faculties to dominate the game the way some of these other quarterbacks do, that is worth more than a slightly higher draft pick. Okay? Num Seahawks fan, thank you for the $2. I swear we're gonna never let Pete go. Maybe by 2029. I look. I have a hard time taking Pete seriously right now. The dude walked out of a press conference for no reason and then came back and started crying about how he's trying everything he can think of. I don't know what's up with Jamal. I heard he got hurt kind of seriously, but I don't know. But look, if we go out in a couple weeks and get dog walked by the Rams, then things are going to revert. Okay, we need to see some real shit. No, Jackson, I don't watch them live very much. Yeah, good for Eskridge. Good for Eskridge. He had a pretty good game. Jamal sprained his shoulder. Okay. Ah, boy. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter that much because he's going to be here next year regardless, but that's unfortunate. Yeah, today the offensive line was as bad as people think it is. Like, that was awful. Num Seahawks fan, thank you for the $2. Who made that batted pass at the end of the game? That was Carlos Dunlap. So Carlos Dunlap had his one good game this year, I guess. So, oop, my bad. Nobody saw that. You didn't see that. Curhan and Forsyth played all right in power. Not bad. Not bad at all. Forsyth played good. Curhan played okay. Maybe there's something there. Yeah, maybe he did have one other good game. I don't know. I don't really care. He's still stealing money from the Seahawks organization this year. Yeah, Daniel, it depends on if Stone Forsyth is capable of looking competent, right? Because if Stone Forsyth's going to go out there and just get bum rushed um, 20, 20 times a game and get Wilson murdered, that's not good because we're trying to evaluate things here a little bit. Okay, I need somebody out there who's not going to get embarrassed. But if he's at the point now where he can go out there and not get embarrassed and play at least as good as Dwayne Brown is playing right now, then okay. Right. Right. Like, look, to me, looking back at it, and let me know, you guys in the chat, let me know if this makes sense to you guys. The Schottenheimer era was a band aid, right? The Schottenheimer era was a band aid where we decided that instead of letting Russell Wilson take his game to the next level, take his mental faculties to the next level, and become a great cerebral quarterback like a Breeze or a Brady, they were just going to let him run a simple offense and just build it around those things that he was already really good at, right? So I don't want to go back to that. So the fact that today was built around shorter passes, quicker passes, that makes me feel like it could be real. But I don't want a band aid, which is why I've said I don't want Pete Carroll to seize control of the offense and turn it into a deep shot ball. That's not useful. I already know Wilson has a good deep ball. Yeah, Michael. I mean, you're right. You're right, Michael. But Dwayne Brown still got beat very badly on that play. Stone Forsythe played pretty good, Kronos. I was okay with him. Kupis. Everett just had one of the worst games I've ever seen any tight end have. Okay, he deserves to get crapped on. Okay, look, everyone is entitled to a bad game, but there are bad games and there are bad games. Gerald Everett was literally shaving points. If Jamal is hurt bad, do you think we should shut him down for the season? Yeah, may as well. Yeah, Teron Armstead's my guy, Daniel. Now, here's what I'll say. Num Seahawks fan, thank you for the $2. I don't know what to think about this team, and it's annoying. Yeah, they're all over the place right now. Yeah, Everett Everett was worse than Dominic Wood Anderson in this game. Okay, here's my thing. If Wilson, by the end of this season, excuse me, shows that he can get the ball out quickly, then you don't need the amazing offensive line. Okay? The fact that I want to build this god offensive line is because I think Wilson needs it. But if Wilson becomes one of these quarterbacks who can just get the ball out, get the ball out, get the ball out, get the ball out, then you can look at it and go, okay, we just need good offensive linemen. You just need good players. Like if a guy like a Stone Forsythe or a Jake Curhan can become good, then good can be good enough. As much as I'm scared of that mentality, I mean genuinely good, by the way. I'm not talking about like, oh, he's not the worst in the league. No, yeah, I'm talking about somebody who's genuinely like a top 10 tackle. Like, the reason why I really want Armstead is because I think Wilson needs that in order to play well because he holds onto the ball so long. But if he can get off of that, then I can start to believe something else. What do you think about AP? I don't think anything about Adrian Peterson, really. I mean, good for him, but he didn't really help us win, and he, um, I don't know, it was fine. It's not useful. I'm not learning anything. Yeah, Eskridge had a decent game. Did you see him make that guy miss? The dude shook a dude in a phone booth. That was nice. Sean, I guess that's a possibility. Sean Proper, that is something of a possibility, but think about what you gain if this team can actually show that they're figuring this stuff out. Yeah, Emmett, I think what the problem is we don't have an offensive line to do that. We don't have the right offensive line to run outside zone stuff because they're slow and immobile. They don't move well. The run defense, they did pretty good. That's a good running team, the 49ers. Like, look, honestly, I don't think anything Carroll can do over the next 5 games can salvage him. He still can't draft. He still can't sign talent in free agency. Still big problems there. However, there are things on this team that we can maybe decide, okay, maybe we don't want to throw that baby out with the bathwater. Num Seahawks fan, thank you for the $2. We'll see if things are changing soon. Good night. It could be about 5, 6 weeks, but yeah, I guess that's kind of soon. Do you think the Hawks should have kept the money they spent on Jamal for Diggs? I think thinking about things like that is kind of pointless at this point. Obviously, we shouldn't have traded for Jamal, but Jamal's a great player. I know that. Jeff Lowe, thank you for the member message. Here's to us actually giving rookies some game times. Yeah, but you have to hold a gun to their head to get them to do it. Like, if it was up to Carroll, we'd probably still be playing these guys, but they got hurt. So, like if Fuller would probably have finished that game today if he didn't get hurt. Who do you think we need to release for the offseason? Bobby Wagner, Chris Carson, Jason Myers. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Everett. Don't get me wrong, Everett's not a bad player, but he had such a bad game that he deserves to get roasted right now. Jamal has a sprained shoulder. Smoking Sunny D. I'm done with Blair. He's had 2 season-ending injuries. Okay, he's. I think he's toast. I'm done with it. Look, I mean, in hindsight, we know we should not have traded for Jamal, but it is what it is. We can't undo it now. We do have a very good player in Jamal Adams, but the fake punt, hey, at least we finally decided, you know what? Let's just screw around a little bit. How you feel about the cap next year? Hey, we're going to have money to spend, period. What if Bobby takes a pay cut? He would have to take a massive pay cut. No, Bobby, I don't think Bobby has any real trade value. Yeah, haircut. It depends on how much money Diggs wants. I have no idea what Diggs is looking for. No, are you insane? Please don't make me sit here and explain why we shouldn't resign Rashad Penny. Do I actually have to take time out of my day to explain this? The dude has bones made of paper mache. It should speak for itself. No, Carson's probably not going to play football again. Carson had a massive neck injury, and he's a running back who runs power. Chris Carson should probably never play football again. Green Earth, why do I want a player who's never healthy? Why do I want a player who's going to get hurt 6 times? I don't care if he'll play for a hot dog. Like if he can't play, then why do I want him? Like I'm okay with giving small amounts of money to players who are, high upside guys. Sometimes it's okay, but give me a guy who won't break in half every time. Brendan Nelson's haircut. Thank you for the member message. If we can successfully rebuild this team with Russ in 2-3 years, bring back Diggs, lock that down, then rebuild the trenches and spend some damn money. Look, it's possible to rebuild around Russ. It's possible. It's just hard. It's just hard. But it is possible. And I'll say this, it becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot easier if Forsyth and Curhan show that they're ready to go next year. Yeah, Micah, I don't know who you bring in destroying the NFL. Like, it could be him, it could be anybody else, but there's no point in paying a kicker $5 million. Jake, no, it's not. It's not harder if you get rid of Russ. It's much easier. You have more draft picks, and you have more time. It's easier to rebuild without Russ. That's the point. That's why you consider doing it. And here's the other thing, guys. Even regardless of how Wilson looks, If you fire Carroll after this season, if you fire Carroll, then Waldron probably leaves too, just because Pete hired Waldron. So now you're putting Wilson in another new offense. That's not a recipe for success. Washi's never in here. I'm not going to make him a mod. I only made Kyle a mod because he kept having an impersonator, so I wanted to be able to tell the difference. How'd you feel about Bobby's interception? Finally, good for him. I love Bobby, by the way. Don't get it twisted. How? What team successfully has done it? This Seahawks team was crap before us. Okay, first of all, the Packers went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Cowboys went from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott. The Colts went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. There are a ton of examples. Second of all, no, we are not. We were not crap before Russ. We made a Super Bowl before Russ. That's stop. Silliness. Silliness. Of course, it's difficult to find a QB, Benjamin, but that doesn't mean you don't try to do it if it's time. Why does Bobby have no trade value? Because he's old, because he's got a massive contract, because he's a middle linebacker who doesn't do anything other than farm tackles. I think that's about it. Hey, Money Settle. Austin Roberts, thank you for the $10.02. Has Wilson and offense turned the corner, or is it just one good game is the question coming from this game? This was against a rival team's get up for their rival. Yeah, that's why I'm glad we have 5 games left to figure this stuff out. But I think that some of this stuff might just be, okay, something clicked. Something clicked into place here. Something clicked into place here. However, there are still a lot of problems with keeping Wilson. And most of them have nothing to do with how good or how bad Wilson is. Wilson could be the greatest quarterback of all time. The Colts didn't keep Peyton Manning when they realized they didn't have the roster to support him. They cut him. The Colts straight up cut Peyton Manning because they were like, yeah, we can't support this dude, even if he is still the greatest. And by the way, he won MVP like 2 years later. Yeah, I know, Aaron. I want to see those guys too. Okay, Jake, but why does that matter at all? Yeah, that's the other thing. Mike Smith makes a good point. Does Wilson even want to be here through a rebuild? I don't know. He might be like, no, I want to win now. Get me out of here where I can win now. Jake, because then you have time. Then you have time. That's the point. Okay? If you keep Wilson, you have a time bomb. Think about it. Okay? Keeping Wilson means you have to do this stuff now. You got to bring in stuff that works immediately because Wilson's going to be like, I want to win now. And he's only got 2 years left on his contract. So in a year, he's probably going to be like, I want a new contract. Or maybe he'll say, if you're not going to give me a new contract, then trade me. There are a lot of problems. Now, it's not impossible to work around it, but it is very difficult. If you trade Russ, then you have a couple of years to build the roster properly so it's ready for the next QB. That's the value, really. I don't know too much about destroying. He's the guy who has the YouTube channel, right, Micah? And yeah, by the way, guys, it's not about Wilson's cap hit. You can build a good team with a bigger cap hit, with a big cap hit on a QB. We haven't done it, but you can do it. That's not the issue. The issue is all these other things. I mean, look, we'll see what we see over the next 5 games, but there are a lot of hurdles to making keeping Russ a good idea. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you keep Wilson and you never make at least like a deep playoff run, then what's the point? Like okay, last year Wilson was in the Schottenheimer offense. This year he's in the Waldron offense. Next year, if you give him a new coordinator, which is likely if you fire Carroll, that's not good. Okay, that's a killer for a quarterback. Thoughts on the awful refs? There was like one bad call. That's not why you guys lost. Get out of here with that crap. You should just be happy that Gerald Everett was shaving points to keep you guys in that game. No, Crayon Dude, I don't like the QBs in this draft. Haircut because Myers is due $5 million next year. There doesn't make sense to give a QB, a kicker, excuse me, $5 million if he's not Justin Tucker. Aaron Rodgers was fine with his new head coach. Well, yeah, they got a really good one, and also Rodgers kind of sucked that first year because he needed time to pick it up. And his defense in by the way, that whole situation may not have worked out if not for the fact that Green Bay had the most BS 13-3 record of all time. Like if they didn't manage to gut out that NFC title appearance despite having a mediocre at best offense, who knows how that works out. But it worked out. Is there anyone we could hire that would keep Waldron around? It would have to be a defensive guy. It would have to be somebody like Matt Eberflus or the Browns DC. Yeah, yeah, and Kyle is correct. Aaron Rodgers is a much better quarterback than Russell Wilson. There should be no comparison there. Aaron Rodgers is in the conversation for best quarterback in NFL history. Russell Wilson is in the bottom half, is like in the second tier of future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Like Wilson's in the same tier of guys like Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Rivers, maybe Drew Brees. He's with those guys. Maybe not even Drew Brees. I don't know. It depends on how much you care about counting stats. But he has more in common with guys like those than he does a guy like an Aaron Rodgers. We wanted him to get there. It looked like he might get there, but he didn't get there. And reason to there's no it's a silly argument. If they found a good offensive coordinator, a good quarterback coach, they could literally help and change Russell and accelerate his learning. Okay, I mean, you got to find those guys, and it's got to happen so quick. And you've got to rebuild the offensive line. You've probably got to rebuild the tight end room, the running back room, the defensive line room. You got a new linebacker, probably, new corner, probably, new safety, probably. It's a lot to do. And if this team is not going to contend next year, then what's the point? Maybe you can take a year off. Maybe Wilson will be like, okay, 2022 is a punt, or a marginal punt, but you got to get me some Super Bowls by 2023. Then maybe we're talking. But who knows if Wilson will even be okay with that? I mean, we'll see what we see over the next few games. But as of right now, Wilson is a quarterback who leans heavily on his athleticism and physical traits to play well. He has a great arm. He's got great arm talent. He has one of the best deep balls of all time, etc., etc. It's not because of his mind. If he can become a quarterback with that elite mind like a Drew Brees or a Tom Brady, then okay. That's something that can carry you into your 40s. Okay, we got 156 people in the stream right now, it looks like. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today to talk about this win. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. Super chats are appreciated. They help keep the channel going. They show up in the tip jar to my left. And we also have channel memberships. We're trying to get to 80 by the end of December, end of the year, trying to get to 80. So if you've been thinking about becoming a channel member for a while now and it hasn't happened yet, maybe now's the time. Dude, are you in here trying to talk shit when you have a Big Bang Theory YouTube AVI? Get out of here. Trying to act all hard while you have fucking Howard Wolowitz or whatever the fuck his name is in your avatar. Get out of here. If Rodgers does leave Green Bay, that's interesting, but I don't know if that's what we need. Would you take Zach Wilson and the Jets 2 first for Russell? I guess. That's not terrible. I mean, hey. I don't know, though. I liked Zach Wilson a lot in the draft, but so far it hasn't really clicked yet, but it is the Jets. Uh-oh. Wow, this game sucks. They should have kept our game in the Sunday night window. I don't know. I really like his arm talent. Well, I mean, it was a very different play, Bill, but yeah, I'm not even kidding, man. Gerald Everett was shaving points today. I don't know if we should bench Brown or Shell yet. Look, I'm not interested in putting Stone and Curhan out there if they're going to get butt blasted 20 times a game. But if they're ready to play at a competent level, then may as well. Green Earth, it depends on what kind of offense you're running. I don't know if I like that. Like, guys, there are bad games. Everett today had one of the worst games you'll ever see a player have. He's a tight end. He should not be able to affect the game that much. Okay? It should not be possible for a tight end to be that freaking bad. For a tight end who gets targeted 6 times in one game to be that detrimental to their team. Now, look, bad games happen, whatever, but that was legitimately shaving points. Scarecrow Bar 66, thank you for the $2. Do you think Hawks will trade one of our star players like Russ? It's certainly on the table. I don't know how much money Everett's going to want. He's not putting up big numbers, so he's not going to demand a big contract. Homer has a role. Homer has a role on this team. He's a good pass blocker. He's a decent pass catcher. He's good on special teams. Guys like Travis Homer have a place in the NFL. You think we're still in the hunt? No. Bottom line is that while today's win was good, hold on, let me fix this a little bit. Micah, I mean, they're never going to do it, and it's fine. I mean, we have eyes. We see that that interception is not Wilson's fault. Like we don't need a stat to tell us that's not Wilson's fault. Yeah, drop top. I'm willing to reevaluate. No, I think Chris Carson should retire. You think we'll beat Houston next week? Probably, but that won't really mean that much to me. Marcus, I've made a couple videos on Diggs already. I don't really have anything new to add to it, so I don't know if I'm going to make another video, but I made a Diggs video a month ago. Yeah. Disley, look, Disley's good at blocking. That alone is probably worth a min contract. Like, you may as well keep Diggs around. What's the harm? I'm not Diggs, Disley. Disley's a good blocker, and his hands are mostly pretty good. Why not keep him around? Detroit didn't beat the Colts. Like, how do I feel about our coaching staff? I'm not a big fan of pretty much any of it, man. Um, to I'll say this: the defense finally had a game where they kind of took over the game a little bit with the turnovers, but then they got away from it by having a terrible first half. So it's still not the defense that we need to be, that we need. Where do I stand with Diggs Cheeseburger? I feel like if you're going to rebuild, there's no point in keeping him around. And I don't want to invest that much money in the safety position. We already have all that money going to Jamal. I don't know if it's a good investment to spend another 10 mil a year on another safety. Hmm. I mean, look, why even talk about making the playoffs right now? Why even talk about the playoffs right now? If it happens, great, but talking about it right now is such a waste of time. Let's talk about it after it happens. Here's the $1 million question: can Waldron get our gameplay flow and rhythm going? I've only seen him muster 2 good drives a game. Well, I'm more looking at these players. Okay, these players got to start playing better. Okay, a lot of the drives that die because the offensive line gets beat, Wilson misses a throw that he should be hitting. There could be a drop. The run blocking has been pretty bad most of this season. I don't think this offensive line is built to block the way that Andy Dickerson wants them to build. So I'm more, to me, the time to kill the coach was last year. Now that you've got a new coach, it's time for the players to start playing. No, Aaron, there's tons of other stuff to talk about right now. I don't I don't know why you think that at all. There's a ton of stuff to talk about. Waldron's not ready to be a head coach. I'm not even sure he's ready to be an offensive coordinator. I don't know yet. But he ain't ready to be a head coach. He just got here. Pretentious Cameron, thank you for the $5. Love the content. I think it is criminal how much talent the Seahawks have and how they only have 3 postseason wins since Super Bowl 49. Pete has to go. Right. I kind of mentioned this a while back. But this isn't just one bad season. This is a failed rebuild. This is a failed rebuild. Okay? This is year 4 of a rebuild, and we suck right now, by the way. So the rebuild kind of already petered out. It petered out after the high point of beating Josh McCown in Philadelphia. That's the big picture here. I don't really mind running back because the rebuild is going to take a while anyway. Well, Green Earth, do you think that this current core can win a Super Bowl? Yeah, Eskridge, he made that one guy miss on that one play. What core? The core of Carroll, Schneider, Wilson, that core, right? Like, if you don't think that core can win a Super Bowl, then why are we sticking with it? Like, of course the rebuild might take a while. But why do you want to watch a decent team when you could watch a really bad team that is building up to actually being great? No, it's not going to take 5 years, Green Earth. I've been over this many, many times. Penny made a couple nice plays, man. Good for him. I was happy for him. Yeah, I got so much stuff I could complain about with the way this team is run. The Adrian Peterson thing seems minor in comparison, but still, just like, can we see some young guys right now, please? Like, if you don't think that this core can win a Super Bowl, and I right now I still don't, then why would you stick with it? You got to shake it up somewhere. Robert Henry, thank you for the 9.99. Here's to Hawks sweep over Niners. Few positives for you, but not flattered about sweep. Carroll needs to go and Schneider too. Go Hawks. Yeah, I'm still there too. The thing that people need to understand is the main reason why I want Carroll and Schneider out of here is they can't draft. Winning one game does not change that. Winning games does not change the fact that they can't draft, especially in a season like this. Yeah, Case and Pack, I'm not even saying we have to win the Super Bowl. Let's make a deep playoff run. Let's have a memorable season that is going to stack up well historically. Okay, Sid, you do understand that It's a lot easier to play quarterback now than it was when Favre and Manning played, right? You know they keep changing rules. How many? Do you have any idea how many touchdowns Dan Marino would have thrown if he got to play in the modern NFL? Well, Mike P, that's the thing. Our offense scored 21 points today, I think. It was 21 points, right? And they did that with Gerald Everett shaving points. That's a step in the right direction for me. I can focus all my anger at Gerald Everett and say everything else kind of clicked. Everything else was at least functional. It's not great, but at least there's something to be happy about. Patrick, I think you kind of can, or you can try. Oh, cool, Klasda. I don't think Jalen Hurts is good, but I'll kick his tires for a little bit and see what's up. No, Curran played guard, I think, left guard, something like that. It was left guard, right? MJJ Biz, I don't know if I believe that. I don't think one game is going to make teams suddenly believe that he's amazing, whereas they didn't believe it before. We can do better than that, Revry. We can do better than that. Also, Carson has no trade value. He needs to retire. Okay, Michael Crojo Chavez. That may be true. It's possible that John's still good and it's all Pete. That's possible, but I don't know. Dan Marino would have thrown 1,000 touchdowns if he got to play in the modern NFL because his career also would have been like 20, like 5 years longer than it was because it's so easy to play quarterback now. Well, no, Patrick. Hurts would just be the stopgap for like one season. You don't get Hurts to be your future. You just get him, see what's up, but plan on getting somebody better in 2023. Oh, Jake, I definitely that's the black pill, Jake. I don't want that. I don't want to keep Carol and John. Yeah, Patrick. Like like that's what the Patriots did with Cam Newton. Do you think Bill Belichick thought that Cam Newton was going to go win a Super Bowl for him last year? No. He knew that he was getting broken down, washed up Cam. But he was like, I got to get somebody. It may as well be this dude. Well, like whatever, maybe he'll put some highlights up, maybe he'll play a couple decent games, but he knew what he was getting. He knew that wasn't going to help him win, but he had to get somebody and was like, okay, this year's a punt anyway. Yeah, maybe Minshew over Hurts. I'm indifferent. I don't like Hurts, but whatever. It's 16-3 Kansas City. This game is ass. They should have kept our game in. Honestly, Wilson might get more this offseason than last offseason. Because this offseason, there are very few options at QB if you want to get better, other than maybe Rodgers and Watson. And Watson, who knows? Like, Watson might not play football again. I don't know. And the draft sucks for QBs. That's the big thing. Last year, there were a lot of really top end QB prospects in the draft. This year, I'm not seeing it. If possible, would you like to keep Russ as our QB for the future? If possible, then yeah, but the odds of that working right now are low. Wilson needs to continue to prove to me that he can do what needs to be done in this offense, and then they need to show me that they're going to be able to build a great team in one offseason. The odds to me of that working out are low. My guess, if you keep Wilson going forward and try to rebuild around him, I think you're going to go 8-8 for a couple years. I don't want to go 8-8 or 8-9 or 9-8. I want to either go 13-4 or 4-13. I think Wilson would be willing to restructure Revra. He's already said he would be willing to do that. That's not new, but that only matters if you actually have money you want to spend. What that's what people need to understand about some of this stuff, right? The problem is not that we don't have any money. The problem is we have money and we haven't spent it. Why would we go 8-8? Because we would have a good quarterback, but we wouldn't be able to support him. We wouldn't have the offensive line, the running backs, the tight ends, the defense. So sometimes you would have a good QB who could bail you out at the end, and sometimes he wouldn't be able to bail you out, and you'd probably end up around 500. Like, you guys think the offensive line is bad this year? Wait till you see it next year if we decide to rebuild it. Okay? If next year's a rebuilding year for this offensive line, then you're going to be missing this offensive line. Tony M, that's not even close to being true. Stop spreading lies in my chat. Wilson has had good offensive lines. Granted, they were mostly early in his career. Well, yeah, Kupis, it is, but there's no point in even talking about it right now. What sports did I play? I played a ton of basketball, little baseball, little flag football, a lot of soccer, which that's just the sport you play when you're a kid and you want to run around, honestly. Did like some like field hockey, mostly recreational, but still. Hey, Viraj, what's up? Yeah, you guys think the offensive line this year is bad? Wait till you see the offensive line next year. I don't know if I agree with that, pretentious Cameron. Trading for Dwayne Brown at least allowed Wilson to not get killed these last few years. Now, it didn't amount to anything in terms of team success, but there is some value in your QB not getting murdered. TN, yes, but they would have to be willing to do it, and they would have to be willing to go balls to the wall this offseason. And they would have to be willing to go to war partially with another person's roster, and some coaches don't want to do that. Do you guys remember when Pete Carroll got here in 2010? He purged the hell out of that roster. It took him a while. Like, I think the first thing he did was cut TJ Hushmanzada. Even though Hushmanzada had a monster contract with us, he was like, I don't care. I don't like him. Get him out of here. He's got a bad attitude. Out. GTFO. Teron Armstead, Austin Corbett, Dante Fowler Jr., Jadeveon Clowney, maybe J.C. Jackson, although I'm not crazy about that. How do you think we should attack the offseason? I would have you have to build the offensive line through free agency. Rookie offensive linemen are no bueno. Rookie offensive linemen are no bueno. That's going to get Wilson murdered. I don't like any of the QBs in this draft. Oh, R.I.P. Teddy Bridgewater. I would wait and try to get somebody like a Bryce Young. No, Damian Lewis is good. We're just jerking him around too much. Okay, we still got about 160 people in the stream right now. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. You can become a channel member. We have a channel member goal. We're trying to get to 80 by the end of the month. $2 or $5 a month gets you access to perks. And super chats show up in the tip jar to my left and are appreciated. Okay, well, maybe not Bryce Young. I haven't decided about him, but somebody like that. There's going to be good QBs. There's going to be good QBs. I don't really like the QBs in this draft that much. Stone Forsythe did pretty good, I think, Fumi. Ooh, missed the EPAT, though. See you later, cheeseburger. This draft is good, but I don't like the quarterbacks that much. Some of them are going to be good, but I don't know who. There's one guy in my chat who really likes. Hold on. Malik Willis. Yeah, one guy really likes Malik Willis, but none of these QBs are great. That's possible, Robert, but Curhan is a tackle, first and foremost. Curhan should be playing tackle. The problem is because there aren't good QBs in this draft, they're all going to get overvalued. So a guy like Malik Willis should probably go in the second round, but he'll go in the first round. Thank you, MJJ. That's the issue that I have. This is not a good draft for QBs. So the QBs who are kind of good are going to get overvalued like crazy. Getting running back should be pretty easy, Jake, but that doesn't mean we'll do it. Like, we've had years before where our best running back was Christian Michael. Why did we sign Eason to have somebody? Like, it could have been anybody. It doesn't really matter at that point. There are good running backs in every draft class. You just got to find them. There are going to be guys who are good who go in the seventh round or UDFA. You can get them. Yeah, yeah. You got if you're going to spend like a first round pick or even a second round pick on a running back, you better be damn sure you're getting Adrian Peterson. I hate spending picks like that on running backs. It's just not something I'm into. I've seen way too many success stories from running backs late in the draft. Yeah, that's the thing though. All these people who don't want to move on from Wilson, they talk about all the bad examples of teams trying to find a quarterback. They never talk about the good examples. The Ravens went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson. What if the Ravens went, "Oh, it's so hard to find a QB. We got to keep Joe Flacco, man." No, they decided, no, let's get better. Let's move on. Let's get younger. And they did, and it worked great. Packers, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. They didn't miss a beat. Colts took 1 year off after Peyton Manning got Andrew Luck. Like, there are tons of positive examples. Tony Romo to Dak Prescott. Okay, but Flacco got it done. Flacco was a franchise QB for a while. Yeah, I know Flacco was worse than Russ. But the point is, just because it's some teams have bad luck finding new quarterbacks doesn't mean they all do, and it doesn't mean that it's a good excuse to just say it's hard to find a quarterback, therefore we cannot consider that possibility. I know Empower, but look, he didn't just have a bad game. He had one of the worst games I've ever seen any player have. He had a game comparable. Remember that kick returner for the Niners who fumbled two balls in the NFC title game against the Giants to blow the game? His name was Kyle Williams. Remember that? Remember that? He basically had the tight end version of that game, except it might have been worse. He touched the ball 6 times, and 3 times resulted in a turnover. Isaiah Spiller? Okay. Yeah, I know Empower. I know, but like he deserves it after that game. Come on, you guys know it. You guys know that he deserves it. Okay, Patrick, but there's a bigger picture here, okay? It's not just about game 1 or 2 games. There are problems with us keeping Wilson that have nothing to do with how the way Wilson plays. He could be the best QB ever or the worst QB ever. It doesn't really matter that much. We really needed Washington to lose today. I think Washington winning today really kind of killed the playoff push concept. Yeah. Well, Dallas doesn't look that good. I mean, they beat the Saints with Taysom Hill with a bad finger, and that was a competitive game. Yeah, TJ, exactly. Vikings are falling apart like quick though. So are the Saints, honestly. Yeah, I really didn't like Quinn Miners coming out of the draft, Robert, but he is looking all right. Is he? Let's see here. I mean, I don't watch every Broncos game. Let me check something here. Ooh, PFF does not like Quinn Miners. Take it for what it's worth. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Daniel. Okay, Jake, but there are a lot of reasons for that, all right? I would take one Super Bowl. If you could tell me, hey, if you move on from Wilson this year and get another quarterback, that quarterback will win a Super Bowl in like 5 years. Sounds good to me. I don't know what the point. I don't know what the point is you're trying to make, Jake. The point is they're franchise quarterbacks. You can mess with those guys for long periods of time. That's the point. Like people point to Cleveland, like Cleveland can't find a franchise QB and they've been in the league for 20 years. My point is, my point is, people forget the good examples. Like look what the Patriots are in the middle of right now. Look what the Patriots are in the middle of right now. They get rid of Brady, have one bad year, and now it looks like they got another guy who's good. I don't think DJ Dallas played offense hardly at all, which is such a waste. Maybe he played a little bit, but I didn't notice a whole lot. Like, such a waste. Well, honestly, we could sign Bridgewater. That's not the worst idea ever. He'll just be a stopgap for 1 year. Like that's whatever. That's fine. Bridgewater's the kind of quarterback you want to get when you just want somebody to get beat up for a down year. What did I think of AP? Whatever. He's trying his heart out, I guess. Good for him. But I don't really have any thoughts. DK, he's doing okay. No, TJC, not especially, but I don't. I didn't want either. I wanted somebody at a different position. All right, garbage time touchdown. Let's go, baby. Um, Tygo Kupis, something like that. Something like that. That's the general structure. No, none of your BZ. KJ Wright, he's not playing that much for Las Vegas, so I think he's kind of out of gas. And the problems with this defense are much bigger than what KJ Wright could fix. Uh, well, Benny, it's not just playing well. He has to play correctly too. There are layers to it. But if he plays correctly, I think the opportunity is open again. I don't know if I would do it because it's still so hard to rebuild around an older quarterback. But at least it's on the table. Jordan. Well, yeah, Jordan Brooks isn't good in coverage, but we knew that Jordan Brooks was bad in coverage when we drafted him. So we should be mentally accepting of the fact that he's bad in coverage. And like if you didn't want a player who was bad in coverage, then why did you sign his ass or draft him? Excuse me. Cornier, Carson should retire. Period. Well, Mr. Dexmo, I think that the offensive line was clearly divided into two eras. You had Kyle Fuller era where they looked atrocious, And then they had the Jake Curhan era where they looked tolerable. He has a neck injury, Patrick. It's not good. He's a running back. It doesn't matter how young he is. He has a massive neck injury and he's a power back. Penny, he tried his hardest, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. No, Marcus. They can't get pressure. Pressure is a big deal here. You got to be able to get some pressure. We don't get any pressure, and we still don't really get turnovers. Although today was better. Yeah, do you think that Penny wasn't really good? I think Penny could have been good in the right offense, but not our offense, which is makes it really stupid that we drafted him. He would be good in a vision-based offense. Who's Seth Forsyth? I'm assuming you mean Stone Forsyth. Yeah, he was good. Nick Saban, oh, dude. Oh, no comment. Who do we keep on the D line besides Taylor? You could keep Puna, I guess. You could keep Brian Monet. He's pretty good. Jair Alexander, pretentious Cameron, maybe. Nick Chubb was another good one too, but I like Jair Alexander. Al Woods, he's good, but he's also old, so I don't want to be the guy stuck paying him a bunch of money when he's old, when he's washed, and him being washed at some point, it's gonna happen. Benny, I would probably go after defense because I really like the defensive players in this draft, but there are a couple different ways you could go. You have flexibility. You could get the tackle from Alabama. I don't really want Jim Harbaugh, Ethan's Tech World. Well, remember, guys, the Eagles' first round picks are a lot more valuable than other teams' first round picks because they're all this year. If you trade with a team like the Steelers, it's first round pick this year, first round pick the year after, first round pick the year after. That's not nearly as good as the Eagles being able to say, we can give you three first round picks right now. Oh, yeah, I want to run Armstead Boomers, especially if you keep Wilson. Okay, so this game's got 3 minutes left in it. The Chiefs are just going to run the clock out, basically. So, after the game ends, the stream's going to go off. I'll come back later to play a game on stream. But, yeah, if you have any last minute comments you want to get in, now would be the time. Yeah, we have decent cap space. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's good enough. Well, yeah, D. Eskridge will be here for a while. He's on his rookie deal. There's no reason to get rid of him. Stone played pretty good, Will. I think Stone played all right. If Pete stays, are we doomed for the next decade? I don't think there's going to be any deep playoff runs or Super Bowls. There's just too much to overcome. What's the future for Gabe Jackson? He's probably here next year, but after that, who knows? I watched the games with a couple other people. Yeah, Gabe Jackson's played all right. The problem is his presence has forced Damian Lewis to left guard where he's not nearly as good. I want to switch their positions, but I mean, look, guys, we still got games against the Cardinals and the Rams. Both those teams are fully capable of busting a fat load in us. And if they do, we will probably be sitting here feeling the same way that we have felt this whole for most of this season. So, Sean Proper, if the right player's there, maybe, but I still feel like you can get good value late in the draft at running back. I think it's the easiest position to get great value at. Cardinals may have nothing to play for week 17. That's true. But they already beat us with a bunch of backups already. Well, I thought it was okay for Pete to try it, but once it became clear that it wasn't working, you needed to knock it off. Um you needed to switch them. Like it was okay to try it. Woo! Yeah, yeah, I mean, we'll see. The Cardinals are the 1 seed right now, right? They need to win. They can't tie with the Packers because the Packers have the tiebreaker, so we'll see. I mean, to me, the interesting thing to watch. To me, the interesting thing to watch over these next 5 games is how is Wilson playing within this offense? Okay, like Wilson can play good and have it not mean as much if it's all just huck it, chuck it. Okay, that's what he did against the Titans. He played a good game against the Titans, but it was mostly off the back of 2 70-yard touchdowns. When it came to actually just, keeping it short, keeping it quick, keeping drives alive, he failed. The offense did nothing at the end of that game when we were trying to close it out. If we see more of like what we saw today, then I think you have some reason to believe. We're working on it, man. Patrick, I don't think that's true, Patrick. Okay, Micah. I mean, you had that one play at the end of the Titans game. It was third and short, and Everett and Swain, I think it was, are running a little route combo at the bottom of the screen where they're like running in front of each other, and one of them's going to be free for a wide open first down catch. But by the time they're in that route tree, Wilson's already chucked it deep to Metcalf, and it's incomplete, and we're punting, and yeah. So I don't think that's a play calling thing. I think that's just Wilson making a decision thing. We've seen all the images of him going deep to Lockett or Metcalf when he has somebody underneath. And look, sometimes it works and cool, except for the fact that the defense goes right back out onto the field. Sometimes it doesn't work, and same problem, except there's nothing cool about it. Give us our Super Bowl pick: Packers and Chiefs. Like you've seen the interception he threw in the Green Bay game. He chucks it deep into double coverage to Lockett. He's got Gerald Everett open for like a 6 to 8 yard gain. Just take that. It's first down. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. And yeah, sometimes even when it does work, it doesn't actually work because it means your defense just has to go right back out there. That's what happened about the Titans. Against the Titans, rather. That's what some people don't get. It's not enough for Wilson to play well. He has to play right. Well, okay, I mean, if Everett fumbles it, then I'll blame Everett. I won't blame Wilson at all for that. Let it be somebody else. I will not eat another morsel of food until Margaret Thatcher is dead and buried. What change do you want to see in the offseason? I kind of want a complete roster purge. I want a complete purge. I want to start over, use 2022 as a punt. Well, we can run bubble screens if we have the players to execute it. Whenever we run a bubble screen, it doesn't look like a real play. We run these bubble screens and the receivers don't block for it and it never goes anywhere. If we don't have the players to execute that, then either teach them how to do it in practice before you run it or just don't run it. No, we could trade Metcalf for a first, but I don't know if I want to, pretentious Cameron. I might rather keep Metcalf around. He's got a lot of life left in him. He's got a lot of good years left in him. Jerry Judy with the fumble. Incomplete. Never mind. Bobby is not going to get a first round pick. Get that out of your head, please. Bobby Wagner, I don't think he has any value. He's an aging middle linebacker who only farms tackles. He's got a giant contract. Like, teams are not trading for those kinds of players. Do you want to keep Wilson right now? I would say no, but we'll see what happens over these next 5 games. We'll learn what we can learn over the next 5 games. Especially with the offensive line being as bad as it is right now, you got to get the ball out quick. You got to know that. Like, if the offensive line is going to be that atrocious the whole rest of the season, then you got to throw. Then you got to throw it quick. Period. And if and Wilson should be understanding that. Like, even if the offensive line is that bad, then that's just one more reason to get it out quick. Ugh. Why would we need Devonte Adams? Receivers like one of the positions we're fine at. Thank you, Nicholas. No, Sean Proper, he's still young. He's still young. And also, you're the only team that can pay him right now. Like, either you pay him or he waits another year to get paid, which most players are not going to be willing to do. The reason why you move on from Wilson is that he's old and already getting paid a ton of money, and he's going to kind of interfere with the rebuild in some ways anyway. Metcalf's not like that. All right, so this one's over. So thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. We had a good discussion. Good game today, mostly. I mean, good result. I am happy to beat the Niners as always, but still problems abound. Give me a little bit. I'll be back in stream to play probably Persona. We're going to do the Culture Club today, so that'll be fun. So come on in, tune in, and we'll have fun with that. And I will see you guys there. Thank you for coming out once again. Go Hawks.